Hello and good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining An Academy's Interior Design webinar. I guess everybody has come back from work, and I have come back from work, and Tavleen has. So after days of work, we are here together to talk about interior design. Before we dive right into the presentations, I would like to I'm Shubhangi, by the way. I am part of An Academy's branding and communications team. Before we dive right into the presentation for today, I would like to talk a little bit about what is it that we do at An and why do we do it and how do we do it. So An is a one-of-a-kind design upskilling platform, which was launched by the Institute of Art and Design, which is a brick-and-mortar design school based in Okhla, New Delhi. So IIAD was launched almost a decade back in collaboration with Kingston School of Art, London. So And Academy actually comes from that pedigree of imparting design education for over a decade now. Sorry. We offer professional design courses for graduates and working professionals in the domains of UX/UI design, graphic design, and interior design. And today we are here to talk about interior design. Our courses are designed in a way that we sort of emulate a studio environment in an online course. So all of our courses are live and interactive, and they do not happen in a webinar or a passive sort of a mode where the learners or the students can sit and listen, and the mentors will be talking. It is very hands-on, very interactive. You get to do assignments and in-class projects. Our courses are also stackable in a way that you begin from the very fundamentals of design, and then you can go on to build your expertise, your skill in whatever chosen field you're going for incrementally. So for example, you begin with a certificate, which would be like a basic course for interior design, and then you can choose to go on for another 16 weeks and graduate with a diploma. And then over the period of these another 16 weeks that you take after the certificate course, you also build your expertise into that genre that you have picked up. uh, we steer away from traditional models of learning, as I spoke about, that our courses sort of emulate a studio-like environment. So we're not one of those institutions that will just be passively imparting design education. We optimize for your accessibility and convenience so that you can learn and work together. So our courses are also designed in a way that the classes happen post like 7:30. For example, today's webinar would be such an example, and they are part-time courses. So we optimize for people who want to learn and work together. And we combine expert mentorship, practical training, and industry exposure to guide you towards a better future in the industry. Yeah, so today's webinar is led by our course manager in interior design, Tavleen. And before I hand it over to Tavleen, I would like to talk a little bit about her. About her. So Tavleen is a certified interior architect and educator in design scholar with substantial industry experience. She has worked on various interior architecture projects and organizations like Studio AVT Architects, Gyanvi Mathur and Associates, Dhun Life, and Studio Sara. A graduate of Maharishi Dayanand University, Rohtak, Tavleen also holds a master's degree in interior architecture from Sushant School of Art and Architecture, Gurgaon. Before I hand it over to Tavleen, we'll be following certain rules in this webinar, some hygiene checks that we'll keep in mind. That we will take there's a certain flow to the presentation today, and then we'll take the Q&A at the end of the session. So if you have any questions during the presentation, I recommend that you put it in the Q&A box and not put it in the chat box. We'll use the Q&A box so that we can answer your questions systematically. So with that, I hand it over to Tavleen. Tavleen, please take over.
Thank you, Shubhangi. Thank you for the brief introduction. And let's now dive deep into knowing that what interior design is, right? So what all are we going to cover today? Of course, we'll be knowing about what interior design is and what all are the industry opportunities that you will be getting once you complete your course. We'll be also seeing some of our students' work, right? And other courses. And of course, we'll be taking your questions at the end, right? So let's know what interior design is. So, as like whenever we enter into a space, we say that, okay, there's a possibility of transforming it. An interior designer holds that, that duty of actually seeing that space in a manner that, okay, what transformation that person can, give that space and in which manner, and involving some science, some art, language to it, and keeping in mind that this design, this space is owned by a user, right? So interior designing basically deals with this, there's a symbiotic relationship between human and environment, right? So to be able to balance the needs of the space as well as the users of the space is something that an interior designer does, right? And apart from that, we say that each and every inch, each and every square foot on a space has some meaning, right? So if we just stretch a line over a place, it'll hold a meaning. So it tackles with the usability of each and every square foot of a space, right? And of course, as a result, it creates some very aesthetically pleasing and functional spaces, right? So interior designers basically visualize, they plan, and they design through ideation, experimentation, and application. Yeah. So let's move ahead. And I'm sure some of you are sitting here have already met me in the interview. And, some of you I would have asked this question also that what do you think is in the difference between interior designing, interior styling, and interior decoration? So today, I think those of you who have been given this task of knowing this difference, today I'm going to answer this question. Yeah. So interior design, basically, we say that it involves both the art and the science of understanding the user as well as the space. So to be able to create that symbiotic relationship and to be able to give justice to the, to the space that you're designing in terms of the art and the science, right? Interior styling basically means, you can just improve that space in aesthetically and you can basically play around the functionality aspect of it also. Maybe you can change the the furniture here and there, and to see that, okay, if the setup is looking like this, can we make it a little better just by moving the movable items, right? And interior decoration is just adding some, beautiful aspects to the space. So interior decoration is basically just enhancing the beauty of that space. So if you ask us, interior designers are also interior stylists and interior decorators. But an interior decorator cannot be an interior designer. And same for interior stylist cannot be an interior designer, right? So moving on, we say that an interior designer wears many hats, and with that we here at and focus on the design journey, the design process. So that's why we say that design is always greater than the software. And many people come up and ask me this question that, okay, how many softwares are you going to teach, and will we able to take out some renders of the space? Of course, that is important, but that is not the only thing. An interior designer wears many hats, right? So let's see what all these hats are. So an interior designer is a researcher. An interior designer is always a logical thinker. There's a creative, imaginative mind that runs, right? And of course, once you are able to, channelize your imagination, then you go to the planning aspect of it. Once you plan things, then you want to make. And an interior designer is always a learner, because these changing trends in technology, the change in material, the advancement in the technology leads to different materials that come up. So you have to learn about these materials or techniques or the softwares that are coming in. So an interior designer or a designer is always a learner, right? So moving ahead, what a designer must know, right? So it is not just about just the design process. We also have to deal with understanding some visual design aspects, the knowledge about color, knowledge about compositions, knowledge about lighting to some aspect, some how a space can visually feel. So that visual design is something that a designer must know, right? And the most, I think this is something that you should know, that who are you designing for, right? And once you know who you are designing for, you should know that what is in their mind. So to be able to satisfy the user's need is something that a designer must know, right? This involves a design process. Now, a design process is something which leads to the entire journey of your, design. And this involves developing of ideas. This involves, after these ideas, coming up to design problems and then finding solutions for them, right? And then when you are, at a space where, okay, you have some ideas, now you want to convert those ideas into visual representation. So here is where your tech can really help you. So learning a software through, learning a software, or be able to just convey your message to the, whoever is designing for you. So you should be able, and to your clients, that okay, this is what is in your mind, and this is what you should be able to tell them, that okay, whatever you are thinking, this is how it will come out to be. So this is something that, we get to learn from the softwares. We are able to convert those ideas into something visual, right? And then what if you are able to do everything? You are able to, go through the entire design process. You're able to convert your visual representations, like your ideas, into visual representations. You're also able to satisfy the user needs, but you're not able to effectively communicate. That is also important. So effective communication is also something which, a designer must know. Yeah. So moving ahead, what is the future of an interior designer? So we'll just quickly look on upon certain things, certain projects that an interior designer can work on, right? So of course, renovation of home interiors is something that, is something which is a very, very common thing that people come up to. And renovation of home interiors is something which holds your like interior designer's scope. Then, of course, theme cafes are a thing these days, right? So you can actually, once you have completed a diploma course, then you can go ahead and actually go and design in the industry about these theme cafes or restaurants, right? Of course, hospitality sectors have these lobby areas, these entrance foyer areas, which they want these to catch hold. They want to design these spaces in a way that okay, it catches the eyes of everybody. So this is something which is a major scope for interior designers. Then, of course, office spaces are not anymore, those simple spaces where people get that monotonous, routine. Now, these days, everybody wants to, design their office spaces in a manner that actually makes their users work. It helps their users to work in those spaces. And with the trend of co-working spaces these days, this is a large area of scope for interior designers. Moving ahead, there are certain permanent retail stores and some pop-up stores around, the malls that you see. And there are certain window display areas around these, the streets or the malls that we work on. And certain e-commerce website also offer interior designers, some like they want presets to be organized for the clients already. So you have to just go. This is a great opportunity for you to be able to, explore. Then there are certain temporary structures, temporary exhibition areas where, people require their brands to be displayed, and they want some expert advice where they can actually, showcase their brand in a manner where people are attracted to when they can see their, they come to their part of that exhibition area. So this is something which also is in the bucket of an interior designer is exploring, right? Then there are certain stores which they are actually home furnishing stores where they want this to be actually like a replica of how it can look like in their own dining spaces or their own residential areas or their own commercial spaces. So yeah, this is also another scope. Okay, till now we were talking about what all an interior designer can do. Now let us look upon what an interior designer cannot do, right? So anything which is related to structure, anything which involves any breaking, anything which involves any shifting of windows, doors, or any changes in the plumbing lines, in the water connections, in the electrical plans, in this, you would need an expert advice. So in this, the experts are either the civil engineers working on site or architects working on site, or in case of changes in the plumbing line. So of course, the plumber expert of their the space that you're working on. And in case you want to change any electrical points, then of course the concerned person there. So all these changes, you have to, keep an expert within loop, so that in order to make any changes, you'll have to consult them, and then only you can actually go ahead and make those changes, right? So yeah, anything which is within the scope, within the already existing structure is something that you can work on. But in case you want to break a wall, in case you want to shift a door, in case you want to shift a window, you would need some advice from these architects, civil engineers, structure engineers, right? Okay. So moving ahead, what all are the skill sets and knowledge set that an interior designer need? So your skill set or your toolkit will, include the spatial planning of the space, how, as we were talking in the previous slide also, how each and every square foot is designed is something which is a part of spatial planning. And this is something which, are developed in the entire course. We help you develop these skills of how do you actually spatially plan a space, right? Understanding your user, understanding a user, how do you talk to your client? How do you meet the client? How do you, what all are the questions that you ask your client in the first meeting versus what do you ask them during the, the entire process of designing a space for them? So basically, initially understanding a client brief, and then understanding that, we divide these needs into two parts, which are the functional needs of the space, and of course, according to the brief of your client, the functional and the emotional. So we focus on both. We also are able to cater to the functional needs of the space as well as the user, and the emotional needs of a user, how that client really wants that space to come out, what kind of vibe that client wants that space to come out to be, right? So these are the things that we keep in mind, and these are the things that we train you throughout the process. Yeah, of course, then once you have understood this, then according to the understanding of this, what kind of materials that we can use, what kind of furniture are we putting in, how are we managing the circulation around that furniture, what are the type of fixtures that we are fitting in, what type of, textures that we are involving in the space so that it satisfy both the functional and emotional needs of the users, right? And then once we have created this tool set with us, we go out to actually freezing our plans. And once we have freezed our plans, how our, the structure is looking like, how this is the layout that we are working on. So we work on the exact dimensions, the measurings, the exact dimensioning. And on the basis of that, we prepare technical drawings, which we also say good for construction drawings, right? Then we go ahead and prepare the costing. We also understand vendor management here. We also understand how do we collaborate with different, people, how do we collaborate with different vendors. and how can we actually get the best suited price for any materials that we are, using in our space. How are we going to identify that, okay, these are the quantities that are required in our space? And then accordingly, what is going to be our budget? What is going to be the costing of the project? This is something that we cover in the diploma program, right? So these are the skills majorly, these are the knowledge set. This is the tool kit which an interior designer needs for going ahead with any of the projects, right? Now, moving ahead, I'll just make you take like a look on how do we actually work, and some of the students' work I'll be showcasing you. So there's this software known as Miro, which is like a workspace which is shared by the students as well as the teachers, the faculty here, right? So the students, or we have a separate instructor board where as faculty we put in all our comments, and then as students you get your space to work on there, and all the cohort can have a look at what we have done together, right? So I'll give you a glimpse of how it looks like. So this is the Miro app, which looks like this, and this is where we work. So our first module talks about the fundamentals of design. So yeah, this is some of our students' work where in the very first lecture, what we do is we play with dots and lines, right? We tell them to just work upon certain compositions which are abstract in manner. And we, as a class, we see that, okay, how are these compositions looking like? What is the impact of each and every space? And how, the positive and negative space is looking like. So of course, you will be learning all of this within the class. And then we go on to the, actually converting these 2D into 3D dimensions, understanding how that 3D dimensions is added and what impact is it making to the space. We also understand what is through activities that what are the elements of design, what are the principles of design through some interesting activities within the class. We also understand that what is going to be how what is the impact of circulation. We do this activity mapping, and we try to like construct our own, build our own, draw our own plans, and see how are you using our space. So this is something that we do in activity mapping. We also do some mood mapping on how do you feel in each and every space, right? We also understand what is ergonomics and anthropometry, which has to deal with actually what is the, as I was mentioning, that human and, the symbiotic relationship of human and space. So this is something which is an important aspect to understand that. So to understand the human scale in terms of to be able to design certain spaces, right? Then we also understand color, light, and texture, what importance it has, and how you feel in different type of lights, how you feel with different type of textures, right? Then in the first module itself, we teach you a software which is known as Kuhum. This software really helps you develop your ideas into visual representation. So we give you an activity wherein this is the original room of our student, and they have tried to replicate that the same thing in a software, in the same software, which is known as Kuhum. So this is something that we do in the fundamentals of design. This is where we are just starting from the very scratch, so that you get into the flow of actually understanding design. Then once we have understood all this, what we do is we come to the second module, which is known as the residential project, right? So whatever we have understood in the fundamentals of design, we are now going to apply this in the residential project, right? So this is where we give you a demo client within the class, and we also ask you to find your own client. You're going to work on your own client, and throughout the process, we're going to help you, mentor you in the entire journey. So whatever we were talking about, the elements of design, the fundamentals, basically, you get an opportunity to actually apply all that knowledge here, right? So we understand what are our clients' requirements, how do we divide them into functional and emotional needs. Then we create certain, visual representation, which we say as a mood board, right? Then we move on, we keep creating certain layouts, and we keep, finalizing one layout over the other by keeping, keep doing the SWOT analysis. Then we keep, noting down all the questions that we are going to ask our client, right? And then we move on, we start creating certain, so this is the design journey that goes on. We create certain mood boards, then we create certain layout options, then we move on, then we start creating certain renders so that we know how, we also know and our client also knows that how the space is coming out to be. Then we finalize certain materials for our space, and then we prepare certain call out sheets, right? So for those who have shown interest in the certificate program, this is what this at this step you can take an exit. But as Shubhangi also mentioned in the very beginning, that our courses are stackable. So there's another opportunity for you to further learn with us and move on to the diploma level. Now, in the diploma level, what happens is that we move on to the third module, wherein we get to understand something about the construction, right? We get to know what is, how do we construct walls, how do we construct ceilings, how do we construct floors. We also, start prepping for the module 4. So for that prep work, what we do is we start researching about a brand. Each and every student gets a brand as, as their research part. And then they start researching about that brand, right? And in this particular module, third module, what we do is we also teach you a software which is known as AutoCAD, which really helps you develop those good for construction drawings, right? So now when we move ahead and we understand, we do our research part for the brand, we also understand certain things about construction, then we also understand AutoCAD. We move on to the fourth module, which is the commercial project, which is known as the commercial project. Here, what happens is the brand that you had chosen in the third module, now you actually get an opportunity of converting that brand into a commercial space. Here, we talk about a cafe, right? So this student of ours has done this, that she chose Himalaya as a brand, and then she was trying to map how can she convert this into a cafe, right? So we give you a site, we give you this is basically a mall, right? We give you certain lectures, we help you understand that what is going to be the context, as in how are the surroundings going to, actually impact your the site and your cafe, right? Then we go on and understand what is the brand study about. Then we keep moving and understand, okay, we further understand the brand as well as how are we going to convert that brand into a cafe. Similar process of creating certain mood boards, certain layouts are prepared, then we do the SWOT analysis. On the basis of SWOT analysis, we check our option, we uncheck an option, and then we move ahead. We create certain renders, we create certain interior spaces for our, the project that we are working on, the commercial project. Then we also, convert those plans in AutoCAD. Then we prepare certain sheets which are known as call out sheets. This is what I was talking about when we say that, okay, this is something that we, as a description, we mentioned that, okay, this is what is our, requirement. This is the specification of it. Then what size it is in. Then, what color are we doing? And we are also going to understand that, okay, how are we going to understand the vendors? How are we going to actually look upon the vendors? Then we finalize that, okay, this is the quantity that we are going to use in our project and what is going to be the cost of that, right? So we help you go through these also. We have certain specific lectures on the same. And now, once you have done this, you get an opportunity of exiting with your diploma, right? So this is something that we do in our Miro boards. This is something which is like a, worksheet area. But now once every module ends before, like we have a lot of assessments, we have a lot of assignments in between, and we have a lot of, reviews, as we say. So how are we going to present in a review? So in a review, this is how a student presents their work. We ask them to, prepare a proper presentation. And this is something our student Pavanjot has done for the residential project, for this exiting the certificate program. This is what he did for his final presentation. And he has compiled all his work together. And I'll just make you quickly run through this, what happens in the, the entire presentation. So yeah, this is what they present, and they keep talking about their work to the external faculty, which comes as a reviewer. So coming back to the presentation again. Now, as I was talking about the certificate and the diploma course. So we offer two courses. We start with the certificate course, wherein we talk about the fundamentals of design, right? As we say that, anybody and everybody can come and learn with us, because we start from the very scratch. We start from the basics. So that's why, since we are starting from the basic, anybody who's coming and, willing to learn with us, they start from the fundamentals of design. Then we help you understand how do you actually design residential spaces, which caters to some certain stakeholders, a limited amount of stakeholders. Then some of you might want to just exit, like after completing your 18 weeks of certificate program. But some of you who want to actually continue with us, they can actually complete the certificate program. They complete the fundamentals of design, the residential project, and then they continue your journey with us, wherein we help you understand the construction part, the CAD input is given, and we actually help you convert that brand into a commercial project, right? So in the diploma course, what is an additional feature is that we also provide you placement support, right? And this can also be done, that what happens is sometimes you say that, okay, I have completed our certificate, like you have taken your certificate course, like you have completed your residential project, and you really want to work in the industry for a while. And then once you've worked in the industry for a while, you come back and learn the diploma course with us. So yeah, that's how we say that, okay, these courses are stackable, right? As mentioned earlier also, that our courses are part-time, and our classes are twice a week in the evenings. Generally, the timings are 7:30 to 10:30 in the evening. And generally, the weekdays that we choose are Mondays and Thursdays, right? Moving ahead. So, if we are actually learning any design with and academy, so we teach you beyond software. We start from the fundamentals of design. We learn by doing. So our sessions are all live sessions, right? So we have certain industry practitioners that are coming as mentors, right? So, and we get to interact with our peers, we get to interact with our mentors, and we get feedback also. And through that, we are able to improve our work, right? As I mentioned earlier, also our courses are stackable, and we also provide you certain placement support. Now, I'm going to keep the screen open with you. And the other courses that we offer at and Academy are graphic design and UX UI design, apart from interior design, right? The fee structure for our courses, the certificate and the diploma course, are mentioned on the screen. And as I mentioned, that evening classes are from 7:30 to 10:30 in the evening. And we meet twice a day on Mondays and Thursdays. But this is not it, right? So what happens is that since we say that this is not a hobby course that you're enrolling yourself into, so we give you a lot of assignments in between. That would mean that you will have to invest in at least 1 to 1.5 hours or 2 hours per day, so that you are at par with the assignments that we have given you, right? We have regular assessments, and we always end a module with a review, right? And in the, the residential project, for which is the second module for your residential project, and the commercial project, which is the fourth module, in these modules, which are, where we say that you're applying all the knowledge, this might include your mid review also. We also have mid reviews in this, so that, we are able to help you go further in your process, in your journey of design, right? Understanding where you're actually working on a site, and you're actually working on a real life project, right? So here we keep two reviews. We have a mid review and we have the end term review, right? So you get feedback from multiple people. We invite different mentors from for your reviews, for your mid reviews, and in between we also have certain mentoring sessions. So there also you get, feedbacks from multiple people, multiple industry experts. So this is how we say that, we are different from any other, design platform, because what we do is, our classes are interactive, first of all. And how are they interactive? Like, I'm sure this might look like a monologue, because since like almost 45 minutes, I'm just speaking and you're listening. But in our classes, this is not the case. What we do is we introduce you to a concept, then we give you an activity around that concept. And then what happens, you are supposed to do that activity within the class. And uh, within those 3 hours, what we do is we divide certain time so that we can review that activity, and you get feedback from your peers as well as you get feedback from the faculty. So mostly this is how our classes look like. And yeah, we always say that, okay, if you want to grab the best out of this course, you have to be on your toes during the sessions, because our live sessions are really interactive. Yeah, with that, I think if you have any queries, you can drop all your queries in the Q&A session, and I'll keep the screen on for you guys.
Thank you, Tavleen. Thank you for your wonderful presentation. I see that the questions have already started rolling in, so we can begin. But meanwhile, we answer these questions. I also urge everybody else to, if you have any questions, please put them in the Q&A box so that we can answer them systematically. Ratna is asking that she's done her MBA in finance and she now wants to pursue interior design. Will she be able to apply for this course? Of course, Ratna, as I mentioned in the beginning of this webinar, our courses are made, are designed for people coming from any and every background. So if you're an MBA person, a marketing person, and an arts person, a commerce person, any background, these courses are designed in a way that people from all backgrounds can join us. So yeah, for sure, apply for this course, and you will have a one-on-one. You will have some face time with Tavleen, and she'll be able to answer your questions much more in depth. Naila is asking, okay, so yeah, Naila, we do have an 8-month course, which would technically be our diploma. There are many courses available in the market, which are 3-year courses. A degree course is what you would call a 3-year course. We are not advertising that you should not get a graduate degree. If you are wanting to get a graduate degree, please go ahead, and this degree would definitely not compare to that level of expertise. However, if you're wanting to upskill, and this is an upskilling professional course, if you're wanting to upskill and if you're wanting to build on your expertise and wanting to say you're coming from a real estate background or a civil background and you're wanting to upskill in interior design or to take it up, I think this course is for you. We're not saying that you should do this instead of a 3-year course. This course has its own value, and yeah, that's about it. Tavleen, do you want to add anything else to that?
I think, as you've already mentioned, that this is something that can help you work as well as learn at the same time. And if you really want to go and give the entire time for learning, then I think there is no comparison between the two. Yeah.
Yeah. Naila is asking, so after diploma, do we get certificate? So if you're talking about the physical copy of a certificate, yes, you will get based on whatever choice you've made. If you've completed a certificate, only a certificate with us, and then you're stopping your learning, you'll get a physical certificate. But if you go on to pursue a diploma, you will get a diploma that way. So yeah. But if you're talking about how the stackability works, you start off with a certificate course and then you go on for a diploma, which is what you do for 18 weeks, a certificate, and then 16 more weeks you go on to do, you get on a diploma. Okay, do we not have any more questions?
That's great if you don't have.
I say it's an eyebrow raiser every time somebody does not have a question. Everybody must be curious and they should have questions. Okay, let's wait
Yeah.
for a while. Meanwhile, I'll do this one thing. I am putting the link to our interior design course page in the chat so that you can peruse through our website if you haven't already done that, which will have a very thorough fee structure, our curriculum, everything you'll find on there. Okay, we do have 3 more questions. Javed is asking, how does this course help an MEP engineer? Yes, Tavleen, what do you have to say about that?
Sorry, I didn't get the question. Can you please repeat? How can this course help
How can this course help an MEP engineer?
MEP engineer? Oh, this course can help an MEP engineer in terms of right now you were just getting some designs and you were just fulfilling those, the requirements. Now, what you can do is that you can also do that job and you can also provide in your inputs for designing. So you can be an all-rounder. You don't need another interior designer or somebody else. You can do the MEP because MEP consultants is something that we look upon. And you are already an MEP consultant. It's some that means you can also add on your skill set, and you can also be an interior designer. So the entire thing can be done by you.
So people who don't know what an MEP engineer is, MEP stands for mechanical, electrical, and plumbing. And these are sort of, okay, so whenever, say, a building, a structure is made, there's a lot many teams working together so that they can ensure that this building is fully functional. And many teams sort of come together. Mechanical, electrical, and plumbing is one team. So to add on to what Tavleen has said, Javed, if you go on to pursue a course in interior design, you become very self-sustainable. You already know how to create MEP drawings. You will be able to pull off a complete project by yourself. Uh, Given that there is no architectural intervention, if there is any, then of course you'll require an architecture team as well. But yeah, so that will definitely help you reach this course. Naila is asking, are there any field visits or site visits in offline? Since you're an online course, how do you manage it?
Yeah,
Tavleen, what do you have to say
yeah.
about that?
So what we do is that, as I mentioned, that in our residential project, which is a part of the secure, like it is the second module, which is a part of certificate course, therein you're supposed to find your own client in your own city, right? So when you are finding your own client, you're, visiting them, we insist you to visit your client every week so that you're able to visit the sites, visit your client, and have those meetings with them, right? So yes, like we'll mentor you on how to deal those, meetings with them, and you'll have to do that site visit on your own. So we as an academy or as a group cannot go at a particular site if that is what you're asking. But yes, we guide you on how do you actually go to your client and how do you, go about that meeting there.
Okay. Somebody is asking, if I want to pursue a degree in interior, will I be able to do that on the basis of this diploma? I'm not sure if I understand this question properly. Do you mean that if you want to pursue like a master's degree in interiors, would you be able to do that after this diploma? If that is your question, yes, our diploma will definitely add to your skill set and to your understanding of interior design, and it will help build a very solid foundation, groundwork of what interior design is and what are the nitty-gritties of this subject. And obviously, you will become industry ready because that is what we are trying to do with a professional course. So yeah, Michael is asking if I go for a part-time course and I'm free during daily classes, so can I join it be in between the classes?
Um, in between the classes, if I go for part-time classes and if I'm free. So our classes, our course is 100% online and we are going to meet twice a week. And of course, you get a lot of assignments for which you'll have to, invest in certain time. But I don't understand, like this is a part-time course that we are offering at an. Can you elaborate your question once? Because I think I
Yeah,
understand.
Michael, if you could elaborate a little bit, your question's a little confusing. If you want to add on to something there in the question, that would be great. Meanwhile, we'll answer other questions. Javed is asking, can we take up design and build jobs for interior after this course? Of course, you can. Tavleen has already elaborated on what kind of jobs you can definitely take up. So yeah, this would be essentially a turnkey project if I'm uh, not wrong.
So
So yeah.
basically, yeah, yeah. So either of the courses that you do, if you do certificate course, then you're eligible for taking up all the, renovation of residential projects. And if you go ahead with us and do the diploma course, then you can also enter into the commercial field.
Yeah. Okay. Javed is asking, should I go for a diploma or a degree course suggestion, please? Javed, I don't think we're the right people to be answering this question because we have a clear bias. We will want you to go for not any, but our diploma course. But please, be cognizant of what your understanding and what your requirement is at this point. If you think that you want to go for a degree course, you're wanting a degree, then I would recommend against going for our course. But if you're wanting to upskill, if you're wanting to get on what the skill of an interior designer is, I think you should go for this course, which is an Academy's Interior Design Diploma. So yeah. Stuti is asking, what if we miss any classes? How can we go through the same? Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Interior
First
design
of all,
classes should not be missed.
yes. So first of all, we say that, of course, don't miss any classes because if, as I mentioned earlier also that these sessions are going to be interactive. And if you miss any class, you're going to miss on that interaction, right? But somehow life happens and you're not able to attend any of the classes, then we record each and every class. And this is for somebody who has already attended the class also, but they want to recap, right? So we have recordings available for you, and you can just go back and check on what did you miss. Sometimes what happens is that you were active during the first hour, but then you lost, if there's something happened in your house or something happened because of which you were not able to continue the rest of the class. So in that case also we have recordings available. But again, I would say don't miss.
Okay. Naila is asking, you said there's placement support for diploma. So how do you provide it and how many of your students are already doing a job? Naila, that's a great question. If you go onto our Instagram or onto our website, you'll find people who have been placed after the courses. However, the interior design course is designed for people who want to take up like or start their own practice. So it's a very entrepreneurial first sort of a course. However, our CST teams um, has many sessions that are woven into the course, and they will definitely share any and every opportunity that comes their way with you, so that you can choose or not to choose to go forward with a certain organization or a certain design studio. So that is definitely there. And that being said, there's also other components of placement support built into the course for diploma. which is LinkedIn building, resume building, how to write, how to develop your soft skills and how to approach prospective clients and organizations that you're wanting to work with. So that is sort of like the entire gamut of our placement services that we offer. Javed is saying whether your diploma course, will your diploma be internationally accepted? Tavleen, do you want to take that one?
I think like this question, I'm like we come up with this question a lot, but I would say that certificate, I'm not like it might be, it might not be, right? But I think we make you industry relevant in terms of your skill set. We help you understand the, the process, and particularly in, interior design field or design field, this is what matters. You have to, your portfolio is something that shows up. So we help you develop that. So there's no such, on in our field, there's no such no place where you'll be, just on the basis of a certificate, you'll be hired. On the basis of your portfolio, on the basis of what work you have done, you'll be hired. So yes, if you are able to convince any company internationally, any company which is within the nation, if your portfolio is good enough, if your knowledge is good enough, you can just go ahead and, work anywhere you want.
Yeah, Tavleen has, I couldn't have said it any more correctly. Tavleen has covered everything. Javed is saying, will this help me update my skills internationally as I would be pitching for jobs in Europe and US? I think this is a subset of the question that you have already asked, Javed. So as Tavleen has mentioned already, everything comes down to however much effort you put into your learning and building your own portfolio. So yeah, if you're confident in the kind of portfolio and in the kind of learner that you are, I think you can pitch anywhere that you want to be at or want to be working at. Naila has asked a very important question. Thank you for asking that, Naila. Naila is asking when are the batches for 2024 starting and how many students are there in one batch. So Naila, the courses are starting in March itself, which is the third week of March. From 23rd of March, our course classes will begin. So yeah, that's an FYI for everyone who's wanting to apply, that our courses will begin on 23rd of March. And we maintain a certain ratio for number of students with however, how many teachers are teaching these students. So we'll never go for more than 20-25 students in one cohort. Correct me if I'm wrong, Tavleen.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is where we're at. However, if I were to say that how many enrollments we've had with AND, it has been more than 560 people who have already enrolled with AND throughout all of our cohorts. Yeah, thank you, Javed Singh. Thank you. Somebody's put in a question in chat, Vandana. Vandana, as I just told you, the next batch is starting in March of 23rd of March to be specific, 23rd March 2024. So if you're looking to apply and wanting to enroll in AND Academy, I say that you do it before 23rd of March 2024. Okay, I think we've reached the end of this webinar. Okay, no, Vandana is no. After the March batch, which is the next upcoming batch, that would be July. So after March, the next batch would be June, July-ish.
What is the
Javed is asking, what is the payment procedure? So Javed, you have to first pay an application fee, which on the basis of the kind of course that you're choosing is 1,000 to 1,500 bucks. And then you, if you go through our website, which is what I've put in the chat box already, you can choose an EMI plan. We have financial partners that we work with, and you can choose your EMI plan and pay incrementally in EMIs, or you can choose to pay the entire course fee at once. So that is up to you. I would recommend that you should connect with your course advisor to get more details on the payment procedures. And once you're enrolled in the course, there is also a team which will help you sort out these payment related questions, which is our student assistance team. So yeah, that should answer your question. Naila is asking, do you provide any demo lectures? We do, but that is on a case-to-case basis, Naila. For that, I think you should connect with your course advisor and they will be able to guide you better on what the process for that is. Okay. Javed is asking, how do project submissions happen, Tavleen?
Okay, so as I when I was making you go through the Miro board, so what happens is that we work and we give you feedback and we give you, all the work happens on the Miro board, right? And then what are we supposed to do is we are going to compile all that work into a presentation, and we also guide you on how do you actually create those presentations, right? So then we have a review for you where you're given a slot to be able to, present your work, and then that's how you present your work in front of the juror, and then juror gives you some feedback on the same. I hope this is what you were wanting to know. And yeah, that's how the submissions looks like. And we keep doing that after in towards the end of every module. And as I mentioned, in the second and fourth module, we also have a big jury.
Okay. Naila is asking, are the live classes on an app? No, we do not have an app. We have classes on MS Teams, right, Tableen? Yeah, so our classes happen on MS Teams, and yeah, we do not have an app. Stuti is asking, what are masterclasses all about? Do we have them during the course as well? So yes, that's a great question. And to answer that question, I've already put a link to a masterclass in your chat. So we have masterclasses that are open for all and also exclusive to AND learners, which are more frequent that we do. This is a masterclass that is upcoming on, there is a masterclass that is coming up on 13th of March, which I've already put in the chat. So if you're wanting to talk a little bit more about design and wanting to know a little bit more about design, then I would recommend that you join this masterclass. This is an open one, so please feel free to join us for the masterclass on 13th of March. Do we have them on during the course as well? Yes. So you will have some exclusive access to different masterclasses and events that we do for our learners. For example, there will be lecture series on art, on professional skills, so many other case study presentations, and yeah, so there will be a bunch of stuff that just like happens for our learners. So you will get access to all of that once you enroll.
In addition to what Shubhangi mentioned, we also have master classes within the course specialized for like for example, in interior design, we do have a master class in the first module, which is on structures to know structures better. And the second module, which is the residential project, we have it on surfaces, furnishing, and materials. So this is something that we cover within the course also. So we'll be inviting experts from, the industry and some experienced people, and they'll be giving you a special lecture on these topics. So yeah, once you enroll, you are provided an entire schedule on what's happening when.
Javed is asking, do you have any examination for completion of the project?
What you are mentioning as examination, we say as a review. So as I mentioned, every end of a module will have a review. So that is what your examination is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you'll have to present the entire work that you have done till now, and you'll have to showcase it to an external faculty or external person.
Stuti is asking, before joining the course, what are the prerequisites? If you're asking in terms of tech setup, Stuti, that is available on our website. You will, otherwise, in terms of skills, you need to have a basic knowledge of the language English, written and spoken, because our courses are delivered in English. So you need to have a working knowledge of that. Other than that, you should have a laptop and a stable Wi-Fi connection, since we're an online first platform. Yeah, I think that should do. And curiosity, hunger for learning, that is also a prerequisite, I would say. If you have any more specific prerequisites that you want to talk about, please put it in the Q&A box. Sairaj is asking, do you also teach SketchUp, Tavleen?
No,
We
no, we
don't.
don't.
We don't. Naila is asking, what is an average salary of a student from your academy who's working? So Naila, I've already uh, put this interior design courses ka web page ka link in the chat, and that will give you an idea of what the placements and the salaries at and will look like. However, that is again based on what your skill set and what is your portfolio like. So a lot of is dependent on you and your portfolio and your learning. So there is no correct answer that I can give you to this question right now. But please get in touch with your course advisor. They'll be able to give you many examples of people who have successfully graduated from And Academy and went on to pursue different careers. If you want to hear directly from these people, I say you check out our YouTube page or social media, I want to say Instagram, where you can hear from people who have been placed and have already finished their course with that. Jogmal is asking, in this course, will I be able to learn design measurement and cutting list and color combination ideas in this course? Tavleen,
Yes.
you want to
Yeah.
talk about that?
So as I was mentioning, of course, when we are preparing layouts, that is where we actually have to measure. We also do measuring drawing, right? So you have to measure the spaces, and then you have to accordingly use the software Kuhn, which will be teaching you, and then according to that, you'll be able to create those layouts, right? So this is where your measurement drawing is concerned. Design cutting list is not a very, a usual term that I use. I think Shubhangi is something that you've heard about, but I think he's talking about the call out sheet that we were mentioning, right? So yes, we help you develop the material list. We help you, finalize, like, we help you understand the vendors, what all materials are there. And according to that, we also help you bifurcate those into a list and then find out the quantities and find out the costing also. And of course, we have special sessions on color and light option, color, light, and textures. So yes, we cover all these things.
Wonderful. Stuti Singh, since we are coming from different backgrounds, do we have any study material or something available for our revision or to go through what you have already taught in class? Tavleen, do you want that one?
Yes. So what happens is that, of course, so we have this app which is known as Canvas, and here we'll give you all this, the entire schedule for the session, right? So herein what happens is that we open that page for you before the session. So we give you certain, maybe any online study material if it is required before the class, and we also give you whatever presentations that we do within the session. We also provide you as a, for your skill set as which is shared with you. And we also give you certain extra miles. So in case we want you to explore certain things before coming to the next class, we provide you the links for certain, if you want you to go through a brochure, or we want you to go through certain magazine spaces or blogs, anything like that, or any reading material, we provide you with all of that. Yeah.
Yeah. I think what Naila is asking in her question, we've already partially answered that. How do you check our practicals being online, and do you deliver the copy of modules, and do you also provide us with things that we use in our classes for practicals? Tavleen, do you want to answer this three-part question?
Yeah, so about practicals that I was mentioned that okay, we have an activity in the class. So whatever material is required, that is mentioned to you before. So we'll give you the list of materials that are required for the session beforehand so that you're prepared for the class. And apart from that, you were also asking about the materials that we. So what are the three things that she was mentioning? One is, of
How do
course, the
you check
material.
your practicals? How do you check our practicals being online? Do you deliver a copy of the modules, and do you provide us things that we use in our classes for practicals?
Yes, we do provide you things as in we'll give you the list of things, but of course we won't be able to deliver those. You'll have to arrange it yourself, right? We give you an assessment. We have a project tracker wherein we keep a track and which is visible to you also. So in case you have missed any assignment, you'll be able to see that, okay, we are tracking it. And in terms of that also, we also give you feedback on either you need to speed up or you are on track or you are lagging behind. So all that information, we maintain a project tracker wherein you'll get to know where you are at. And yes, give you like we assess you on the basis of the assignments that you give. And we also keep our students, make them we ensure that our students have updated their workspace, which is the Miro, right? So whatever things we are doing, whatever we are covering within the session, we help them understand that, okay, this is something that you are supposed to complete before you come to the next class. So yeah, this is how we track, and this is how you also get to know that whether you are on track or not.
Yep. Do we have any more questions? If there are, okay. Seems like we've reached the end of this webinar. Thank you everyone who stuck around till the last. Thank you for asking your questions. Thank you, Tavleen, for your wonderful presentation and taking us through a very beautiful student work. I hope, okay. The delivery of modules. So our modules are delivered online since we're an online learning platform. And as Tavleen mentioned, there is a learning management system that we work with, which is called Canvas, which you will have access to, where you can see all your material and all your modules and your progress. So these are operational things that you will definitely have access to once you have already enrolled in the course. So yeah, Naila, I hope we have answered your question. As I was saying, we've reached the end of this webinar. Thank you everyone for being with us here tonight. I hope you had a good time and you also got to learn something about and something about interior design in general. Our cohorts are going to start on 23rd of March. So if you're wanting to apply, wanting to enroll with now is the time that you do it. Yeah, with that, I say good night and bye-bye. And thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Bongi. Good night, everyone.
Night.
Bye.